everybody who is listening in, either in real time or sometime down the road. This is the Board of Architectural Review and Historic Preservation. Today is Monday, October 25th, 2021. It's now about 7 o'clock. I'm going to do a roll call of our members, and if we have a quorum, we'll move to start the meeting. At least to the left on my screen is Sarah Latham, who's here, John Gregory, who's here, Peter DeWitt, and myself. Mark McIntyre is not available this evening, and so 3 makes a quorum. So we do have a quorum. I move that we open the meeting of the Board of Architectural Review and Historic Preservation. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, second by Peter. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. So everybody is here for the next hour or two. And joining us on screen is Alice Cooley, our attorney, and our recording secretary for this, Jackie Allen, and we are able to see each other through the work of Kat Steiler. So thank you, Kat. We'll proceed with the minutes approval. While we have September 7th, I haven't had any comments back. I assume that they're good, but I'm going to hold off on moving to accept those. And we're missing the September 27th minutes, but we do have the minutes from October 12th that Jackie prepared. And I hope and assume everybody has read it. If they have, and if there are no comments to the contrary or any edits, I would move that we accept those minutes.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Ayes all around. Okay. So we have, and let me just take care of one thing since we're at home. All right. Thank you, folks. Alice has children and I have a dog. There are no decisions this evening. We do have a carryover of a demolition referral. And I don't know if the applicant is here. It may not be necessary. If they are, raise your hand.
Read the name to them, Jeff.
It would be, it's a 63 Dale Street LLC. And I don't know who's speaking.
I have a Monica Klug coming in.
Okay.
Did she come in? Where's Monica?
Okay.
There, it took long enough. Must be my internet. All right, Monica, you're in. If you'll unmute and start your camera. I'll send you the link of the request. There you go. Here, I'll send you the request again. There you go. Okay. You might want to tip your camera a little so we can.
Okay. Identify yourself and your address. And then I'm going to ask my fellow board members if they've had a chance to look at the property. Monica, tell us who you are and where you live.
Hi, I'm Monica Klug from Spionk, New York.
Okay, great.
And I'm the agent for the owner.
Okay, all right. And I assume we have that on file. I can't recall from last week, but I know Peter, you and I believe Mark, we're going to take a look at the house. Have you had a chance to do that, and what thoughts do you have?
Yeah, well, we looked at the the Sanborns in the building department, and it was built between 1916 and 1932. And then, of course, we visited the site, and it is, as you can see, in bad shape. I would say that, you know, if we're part of a cluster of similar houses, we might be interested in saving it, but it's really all by itself, surrounded by houses of a later date. And I think it would not be a loss to see it demolished.
Okay, any board members, any other thoughts from fellow board members? Yes, Sarah.
It was at one point a very nice building. It has Carpenter Gothic details on the eaves, but the foundation is in really bad shape. And I wish somebody had maintained it so that we could save it, but I don't see the possibility of that now.
Okay, I can't disagree. John, any thoughts from you?
No, no comments.
Okay, Monica, I assume your client has explored ways of repurposing the existing house in any way, shape, or form?
Yes, and there is an application for a lovely two-story home to replace it. It will be coming before the ARB on November 8th.
Okay, all right, but for this existing home, refurbishing or restoring it are out of the realm of possibility for your client?
It isn't in the realm of possibility, and the house is not in its original state.
Mhm. Okay, yeah, I mean, we have board members have an eye towards history, and given their their acceptance of a demo, I respect and honor their judgment. So the board will, Alice, you tell me the right protocol, but the board does not appear to be have any interest in pursuing landmarking on this particular house.
Okay, so I think you should just send a correspondence to the building inspector that the board does not intend to proceed with landmarking, so he can go ahead and issue his permit.
Okay, great. Let me just put that on my things to do. Send note, Ray, no landmarking. Okay, Monica, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you again or your client on the lovely house you say they plan to build. Okay.
Thank you very much.
And that is,
Bye-bye.
that is an area that I think is going to see some nice development going forward. It's some nice land in the village. So, okay, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, thank you, demo team and others. So we have a number of adjournments. And so I'm going to read them, and Alice, raise your hand if you tell me I have to make a motion. But the first one is, sorry, and by the way, trust subtrust A and B, who an adjournment to December 13th.
We already voted on that.
Okay, great. Oris Bliss, we already voted on the adjournment to November 8th. I recall Beechwood Latch is a new adjournment, I believe, and they requested adjournment to November 8th. Am I correct on that? I think, Jackie, you said that was just received.
That's new, yeah.
That's him.
That's
All right,
correct.
so I move in regard to Beechwood Latch LLC 109 Hill Street. I move that we accept the applicant's request to adjourn to November 8th. Okay, do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second by Peter, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. Okay, the next application to be heard is that of 550 Hill Street LP. Now, Alice will be recusing herself and Jeff Goff will be signing in. So Jeff, raise your hand so Kat let you in.
Okay, Jeffrey's coming in. And John Bennett wants to come in. Is that okay?
John Bennett can be brought in to see, but on mute. Okay, and I will explain procedure on that, okay?
Mhm.
Hello, John. All right, so
All right, Jeff, and a Jeff Bragman would like to come in?
again, same thing for him. He
Okay,
to view, and I will explain the,
process, yeah.
okay, thank you.
All right,
As soon as I see Jeff Bragman on the screen.
should appear momentarily.
All right, there he is. Okay, thank you. So just a bit of a recap. At the original hearing, we heard the applicant's request for a demolition on particular property. The board voiced its judgment and general approval to grant the applicant's request. In public comment, the opposition in the form of Mr. Bragman requested the board consider the historic significance, if any. What followed were a series of orally and by writing disputed facts and filings. We subsequently closed the hearing to public discussion. We received additional submissions by attorneys representing both the applicant and the opponents from the public. The board has had, and they too included disputed, as you might think, as there are two sides to an argument, facts and filings. The board has had a chance to review those and consider all the submissions. We had closed the hearing to public discussion session before last. So tonight's meeting is for deliberation among the board members, and that there's to be no public discussion unless we ask either Mr. Bennett or Mr. Bragman, and recognize that if we ask of one, in fairness, we should hear from the other. At the end of the day, as again, I hope all my board members have had a chance to review the work by each of the attorneys, which was extensive, that we are guided by the village codes. And I underscore the word, the village codes. We are guided by the village codes. And for that, what I'd like to do is just take a moment for the board's benefit to have Jeff Blinkoff just review what those guidelines are in us making a decision and deliberating on the application. So Jeff, I'm going to turn it over to you for a second, and then after that, I'm going to turn it to the board members.
Certainly. The guiding principles are found in section 65-5 of the code, which relate to criteria for approval of certificate of appropriateness. And particularly they're found under section B, as in Bob. Not all of these are directly applicable here, but I'll just read through them all for reference. The board's decision to approve or to disapprove shall be based upon the following principles. 1, features or properties which make significant contribution to the character of a landmark or a historic district shall be altered as little as possible. 2, any alteration of an existing feature or property shall be compatible with its historic character, as well as with the character of nearby properties. And 3, new construction shall be compatible with the character of nearby properties in the historic district. Capital C, in applying the principle of compatibility, the board shall consider the following factors. 1, the general design, character, and appropriateness to the property of the proposed alteration or new construction. 2, the scale of proposed alteration or new construction in relation to the property itself, surrounding properties, and the neighborhood. 3, texture, materials, and color and their relation to similar features of other properties in the neighborhood. 4, visual compatibility with surrounding properties, including proportion of the property's front facade, proportion and arrangement of windows and other openings within the facade, roof shape and the spacing of properties on the streets, including setback. 5, the importance of features or property to be changed to the historic, architectural, cultural, or other significance of such feature or property. And 6, the Secretary of the Interior's standards for rehabilitation and guidelines for rehabilitating historic buildings.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. So Jeff said some of those apply, many do not. There was the issue whether this was a contributing structure or not. There's some debate about that. And at the end of the day, it's the village code and the village determination. So let me turn it over to the board members in no particular order, but just on my screen. Sarah, you happen to be in the upper left corner, so.
So I'm in.
Well, or somebody else can volunteer.
I would just say that I think we got a little hung up on whether or not this particular property was a Hanauer house or whatever was originally said. I still, because they haven't, I would rather go with the state, to be honest with you. The idea that it was not a contributing, I don't really think. And vis-a-vis the materials and with Sally's analysis that it is also linked with an artist of some note. I think, once again, as we chip away at these vernacular buildings, we're losing the heart of Southampton Village. So that's all I have to say.
So when you said you were inclined to be in line with the state.
Well, that they maintain that there is a CRIS number that's been assigned this property. And so I would be a lot aligning myself with the people that had sent the numbers off to Jeff Bragman.
Okay. John Gregory?
I'm actually in agreement with Sarah.
Okay. All right. Peter, your thoughts?
Yeah, my doubts about its authenticity come because of the Sanborn, and it was an L-shaped building closer to the street. And there was a squarish building, which appears to be, sort of where this one is. It just, something strikes me wrong. The roof doesn't look right in terms of an historic thing. And it's by itself, set way back. I'm fine with demolition.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I come on Peter's side as well. For perhaps some of the same reasons. Get back to where I started. It's the village and the village code that makes the determination. I can't say, looking at the arguments back and forth and the vagary around the CRIS status, whether this is deemed by the state or any other body contributing, but it's really this village that is responsible for making that determination, at least in my mind. And so I find myself going by the code, and this doesn't meet the criteria that we would otherwise apply to landmarking. And I realize landmarking doesn't apply here, but some of those guidelines, if you will, for landmarking are the same guidelines we use for approving or not a demolition. Yes, it is. And I go back to Zach Studenroff's report, and I don't always agree with Zach. In this case, I do. I think it's a house of a particular vernacular, but not of a particular and renowned or notable or noteworthy style. I think the changes that have been made, as Peter pointed out, have bastardized the house to an extent that I don't know whether it's historic or not. I don't know whether it was on that site or not. I don't know the trail of ownership. It's an okay house, but I don't think it's worthy of preserving. If somebody could repurpose it perhaps and move it somewhere else, in the village. You know, that would be a nice gesture. But where it is, what it is, where it is and what it is are such that I stick with my original thought after reviewing all the files that I would allow the demolition to proceed and accept the applicant's request. So that leaves us at 2-2, at least for the purposes of this meeting.
And Mr. Chairman, oh,
Yes, go ahead, Jeff.
I did not mean to interrupt your thoughts.
No, go ahead.
Certainly, at this point, the board is at 2-2. I don't know if the board would want to hold the matter open for the remaining member to be heard prior to concluding, but that's certainly the board's call.
Well, I think we don't have, I guess, do we have a choice? We would, but I think given the public concern, and I think yes, I would like to hear from the fifth member. And I know at our next meeting, John will not be present, but unless he submits something to tell us otherwise, what I is Sarah and John would like to see it saved. Correct?
Yep.
And John? Okay. And Peter and I are okay with demo. And I don't like to put Mark in the, in that critical seat, but it does take 3. So yes, in that case, I think in fairness to all parties, we should hold this over to the next meeting. I know that's probably not going to make either gentleman happy, as this has taken a long time, but I think in fairness to the community, we should do that. So, Attorney Blickoff, do we have to do anything else? Motion?
I would just ask if there's then a motion for the matter to be held over to the next meeting for further deliberation and conclusion.
I like the way you said that. I move that we hold this over to our next meeting. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay. We will
And
do in a couple of weeks.
thank you. And with that, Mr. Chairman, if I could ask to be excused.
You can be excused. We'll give you a hall pass, whatever you need. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank-
Have a
thank
good
you.
evening all.
Okay, you too. Okay. Thank you, folks, on that. Okay. The next application is BHNH LLC at 109 Hampton Road. They submitted a request to adjourn. Jackie, was it to the next meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so before I make a motion on that, there is concern, which I've shared with some members of the building department, that the work on this property continues in the face of adjournments. This gives us concern. I know some of my fellow board members share that concern. I'll let you speak to it if you wish. Otherwise, I will take it upon myself to communicate again with the building inspector. So does anybody want to or feel the need to chime in?
Yeah, I did a graphic I'd like to share.
Okay, great. Alice, is this okay?
Wait, so we're doing a graphic on
No,
a matter
okay, never
that's
mind.
being adjourned without the participation of the
Yeah,
applicant?
Okay, we can't then.
yeah, no, it wouldn't be right. So, okay, but suffice it to say that the board
And
is,
that could be submitted to the building department as part of your inquiry though, correct?
That's a good idea. Thank you. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
okay, good. All right, so duly noted, we will address it to the extent that the applicant is listening. That is a concern, but I think they're aware of it. So I move that we accept the applicant's request of BHNH LLC to adjourn to our next meeting. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, John, Peter, oh, aye. Okay. Post Crossing LLC, that's adjourned pending ZBA approval. Okay, so the next application in the historic district is that of Fairlane Realty Corp. at 242 South Main Street. And this is a request to demolish a structure, a dwelling, a house, a home.
Jeff, I did receive affidavits on this. It's an order, but I don't think we had any materials that were submitted for Kat to share.
No, well, there was some stuff that was in the file, but I don't think it's, well, it may or may not be germane.
Okay, did you want Joan Morgan in? She has her hand up.
Well, is that who's representing the applicant?
I have no idea. All I can see is their hands up.
Okay, so whoever is representing the applicant and only the representative of the applicant, please raise your hand.
That changed, that switched. Good job, Jeff. Okay, in comes Marianne Horwath.
Okay. All right, so hold on, and while Marianne is coming in, I want to get my file out.
Yep.
Which was here, oh, there it is. Okay.
All right.
Good evening.
Hi, Marianne.
Aye.
Hi, Marianne. Tell us who you are, where you live, and who you represent.
Of 99 Edwards Lane, I'm the agent for Fairlane Realty Corp. And I did submit pictures. 6 files were delivered last week to the building department of pictures of
Yeah, I have them.
sides. Great, perfect.
Nothing digital though, right? Nothing digital?
Nothing digital.
Let me just, if in our file, Derek may have copied them. Hold on a second. 242. Derek Highsmith, item number 240 Monday. Nope, that's. Okay. No, they were not submitted. Marianne, well, yes, you submitted them to the building department. The building department either did not ask you to digitalize them or did not digitalize them themselves.
Well, yeah, they can't do that for people.
No, so we can proceed, I think, in general discussion, but we'll view the file as incomplete until we can share with the public the actual pictures. How do you suggest we proceed, Alice?
Yeah, I think we can have a discussion. It would be great if someone could show some of the photos on screen tonight, but yeah, certainly we can't make any decisions or close the record until the public has had an opportunity to view.
Right, okay.
What
So
if I held up?
yeah, that'll be helpful. So Marianne, why don't you go through your presentation and you can also hold up what you think is relevant. And then we'll ask you to submit a digital version that we can share with the public the next time.
Yes, okay, sorry, I didn't understand that they wanted a digital.
No, that's okay. This is all a little bit new for all of us, and we're trying to work out the kinks, and we're getting better and better each time. So no apologies necessary.
Okay, so this is the front of the property.
Mhm.
It's basically on 1 acre, a 1902 originally built home that the latest certificate of occupancy was from 1979, and it states that it's been very much altered.
You move to the left a little bit, please. To your left. Yes, ma'am, right there. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, now I have a picture of the back of the house. Actually, sorry, this is the side of the house. I picked up the wrong one. Side of the house. This is the south side of the house.
Okay,
Now, this is the back of the house.
yep. Yep,
This is the entryway of the house.
okay,
Here's a picture of windows.
mm-hmm,
And here is a picture of material. So
Mhm.
you can see it's a vinyl sided home with some trim that
right,
is added, okay?
mhm, okay. So that's, yes.
I'm sorry, I believe you have some other documents in the folder that were just printed.
Yes.
Right,
Okay.
okay. So that's the extent of your presentation,
The survey,
right? Okay,
And-
all right,
a document that was done by the Division for Historical Preservation, New York State Parks and Recreation,
mhm,
that writes that it's been very much altered.
mhm, okay,
Sorry.
okay, all right. Okay, so if that's it, I'm going to turn it over to the board. Let me, again, because now her hand is raised, let me turn it over to Sarah, and then we can have comments from the other board, and I will comment as well.
And just as a side note, Jeff, Leslie Biddle has her hand up, so let me know when to bring her in.
Okay, yeah, there'll be an opportunity for public comment.
Thank you.
The form, the blue form that was just alluded to, did say that it had been, that 242 South Main Street had been altered, but nonetheless, it was listed in 1979 as a contributing structure within the boundaries of the historic district. And it is, the massing is intact. Yes, it has vinyl siding on it that should be removed. And in the 1990s, some alterations were approved, but because of its age, it still is a contributing structure. And I also want to point out the proximity it is to other cottages that are representative of the style of Southampton on South Main Street. It's directly across from the Halsey House. And I think just to summarily say that it's expendable is, it would be a crime in my estimation. And I think that although altered, it still has, it has integrity. And let's unwrap it and see what we've got. I tried to get earlier photographs of it from the Historical Society because it'd be nice to have some either archaeological evidence or pictorial evidence, but because I didn't see this until Thursday, I was unable to get photographs. But maybe Roy Stevenson, who lived here, he alluded to it at one point at a gathering at the Halsey House. Maybe his family has photographs of this structure. So thank you.
Okay, John, you're in my upper right corner.
I agree. This one needs further investigation. To me, context is very important for maintaining the history of the village, and because of similar homes, not that of the same design, but similar homes of the same age and near proximity, would lead me to believe this home is worth saving. I believe that other than the vinyl cladding or aluminum cladding that's on the house, it would seem to be a home of historic nature from an architectural standpoint.
Okay, Peter?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's clearly been altered. I do see some Queen Anne massing there. And then, you know, somebody got hit by the colonial revival rage at some point, and, you know, tried to make it, you know, federal, I guess. But I really do think there's something nice under there, and I'd like to go to, I think we all should look and see if we can find original photographs. And maybe, I mean, it's a big house, it's got high ceilings, it's not, you know, it's got good bones, I think. I'd like to see an effort to make it, to restore it to an appropriate age, you know, I don't know whether it would be 1900 or 1940, you know?
Exactly.
Okay, so Kat, if I could share my screen, can we do that?
Yeah, you have the ability to do that. You pick your photo first.
Well, hold on a second. Let me get to that first. So let me do this. Let me do. Oh, where was it? That was a problem. Shoot. Hold on. Ah, here it is. Okay.
So once you pick it, you click on share screen. It's bright green.
Okay. Yeah. Hold
And
on.
then. Mhm. Did you find it?
Okay. Where am I back here? Okay. Yeah. Let's see. But now it's not there. Let me get to it. Shoot.
Okay.
How come I can't see it on here? Oh, darn. Well, hold on a second, Kat.
Sure.
Bummer. All right, hold on. Maybe this may not work. Share screen. Guess the problem is, oh, maybe I didn't download it. That's the problem. Okay. Let me just. You can't see what's on my screen now, right?
No.
Oh, there it is.
Okay. So once you find your photo, yeah, there you go.
Okay, there we go.
Good job.
Now let me, okay. So can you see the cover?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a book, as you can see by the title, Southampton Cottages of South Main Street. And I think it was Peter or John who referred to the other cottages on the street. This is Sunny Hours, which is the house in question.
Mhm.
It's more than just an historic structure. It also has a historic place in the village of Southampton. And let me read a little bit to you, and I'll try not to bore you or the public. Sunny Hours, the home of Edward H. Foster, 242 South Main Street, circa 1890. The property at 242 South Main Street is just a fraction of the land that once belonged to the local Foster family in Southampton. I might note that the street that crosses it is coincidentally named, and not surprisingly, Foster Crossing. It's a significant house with a significant history. The Fosters had been a leading family in Southampton since the 1640s. They were rich in land, having accumulated property in both the eastern and western sections of the town. In 1862, several Fosters between them owned almost 1,500 acres in various parts of the town. The cottage was built about 1890 for E.H. Foster as a summer rental and has only had 3 owners since being constructed. The article then goes on to detail Edward Herrick Foster, another name, who lived from 1844 to 1931 and was very active in the village, as were his progeny, having participated in the foundation, forming and management and oversight of everything from the Southampton Bank to the Rogers Memorial Library, to the Electric Light Company, the Cemetery Association, the First Presbyterian Church, and so on. It was sold in 1929. Well, it then speaks of the Queen Anne style. Foster Cottage is 2.5 stories tall and 3 bays wide, smaller 2-story living. And it does make note that there was construction, but it does, the bones are there, as other folks have said. It was sold to the Lords, and who again are a longtime family here. And then in 1977, the heirs of the Lord sold it to Nicholas Zoulas, a Greek philanthropist and shipping executive who continues to own the cottage today and who Marianne represents. And Mr. Zoulas, who is known to the town and respectful of the village, is a significant contributor to the village, including the Greek Orthodox Church. This house has a lot of history. I concur wholeheartedly with my board members. If the applicant wishes to continue with this application, the board will request a third-party historian to examine the house, both in terms of its materials, its design, its history. It will be a thorough review. I think, Marianne, you can judge the sentiment of the board, but we will give the applicant, in all fairness and candor, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, the opportunity to make their case. I'm now going to turn it over to the public, to the extent that the public has any comment, and then I do have a question of our attorney before we conclude the hearing, and also give you a chance to say something.
Okay.
Any public comment? If you do have if you are a member of the public and have a comment, please, Kat will let you in.
Leslie Biddle is coming in. She had her hand up first, and then Joan Morgan will be second.
Okay.
Come on, Leslie. Sometimes it takes a little longer than other times.
Jeff, I believe Leslie Biddle also submitted a letter.
She did.
If she's here, we can hear from her.
Okay.
Okay, let me try again. Looks like it brought this one in. All right, there's Leslie. Hi, Leslie.
All right, Leslie, tell us who you are and where you live.
Sure, I'm Leslie Biddle, and I live at 257 South Main Street, across the street from 242, right behind the Halsey House.
Okay.
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 So I'm just going to read for the record the statement that the email or letter that I sent, which is that we are the loving owners of 257 South Main Street, a neighbor of 242 South Main Street. We understand that there's a request in front of the Architectural Review and Historical Preservation Committee to demolish 242 South Main Street. 242 is a historic 1820s, according to its listing, real estate listing, Southampton cottage. It is one of the original cottages that establishes the heart of what has become the historical village of Southampton. We all know the history and significance of South Main Street, from the Rogers Mansion on Main Street to the First Presbyterian Church, the Halleck House, the Halsey House, the Theranet House, Winnicott, which is the Robertson House, the list goes on. South Main Street is without a doubt one of the most historic and preserved streets in the village of Southampton. Our family has been the beneficiaries of the Architectural Review and Historical Preservation Committee's foresight and commitment to preserving South Main Street. In the early 1990s, when our house was under threat, the committee denied demolition and required preservation. I'm attaching a picture below of friends enjoying the history and beauty of 257 South Main Street. And think of how much we've learned since the 1990s. The historic homes of Southampton are what make it unique. They can never be replaced. We strongly recommend that the committee deny the request for demolition. If we cannot protect one of our original summer cottages on one of the most important historical streets in Southampton, what can we protect? Sincerely, Leslie and George Biddle.
I was saying, do you, is there anything you wanted to add to that? You don't have to, but it's. Are you, now
I
you're on.
will, well, I will add that, and we did renovations to our home after it had been moved, and we have been through this process. We actually spent a lot of time and care to redo. Some of you were on the committee when we redid our house in 2012, and spent a significant amount of time with the history of South Main Street, the history of our cottage, and how we could make a commitment to preserving it. And yes, there were certain things that we couldn't have and certain things that we would have liked to have done a little differently. But for us, it's really the importance of maintaining these historical homes. And so I, strongly, I've already made my statement, but strongly encourage the committee to do its good work like it did in the 1990s and preserve this home as well.
Okay, thank you. Any other members of the public? Okay,
Hi, Joan. Hi.
Joan, tell us who you are and who you're
Yes,
representing.
we went in reverse order. I'm Joan McGivern from Toomey Latham, and we represent Leslie and George Biddle, who
Oh.
reside at 257 South Main Street. I'm going to, as you've already heard from her, I'm going to avoid repeating her comments. From my part, I wanted to emphasize that this property is in an historic district. We haven't really focused on that South Main Street sits within a historic district, and following the code 65B, being in an historic district means it contains more than one property that's been landmarked, but also, as Board Member Latham has said, it sits within a district that has a vernacular and a cluster of houses that support the historically landmarked houses. And ironically, this house, if I could share my screen, this house is being, let's see if I could do this. Share. Start. This house is being marketed for almost $11 million, and one of its attributes is that it dates back actually to the 1820s.
Maybe.
Which is, I think, may contribute in part for why it's a greatly altered Queen Anne, because parts of it may date back to the 1820s, which certainly would be worth preserving. There was also in the file a document from Data Trace concerning the certificate of occupancy that notes that the house was listed in Belcher Hyde's Atlas of Suffolk County Homes from 1902. So it goes back even farther. And in closing, I wanted to emphasize that when applicant bought this house, they knew that they bought in a historic district, and it was a historic district at the time. It wasn't like a surprise to the owner that suddenly it was having requirements and goals of preserving this district imposed on them. Finally, we request and support the chairman's suggestion that a third-party historian examine the house. That's all I have to say.
Okay, Mary Ann, you're welcome to respond to any of the comments made either by the board or the public.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm grateful to all of your comments because I'm here before the board because this is the place to come to ask all of you. Because I'm questioned all the time. Can this house be torn down? Can I have a demo permit for it? As someone said, there's only been 4 owners through the years. And
I guess you're right. I think.
Maybe
Okay, 4.
but at this point, the current owner had never an intention.
Mr. Zulas.
Yes, Mr. Zulas, Fair Lane Realty Corp.
Mr. Zulas.
Yes, they have no intention of demoing it. They've loved the house through the years.
Then
Now
why are you before us if they have no intention of demoing it? Because now Mr. Zulas will be subjecting the village to engage at the village's expense an historian. If they have no intention of demoing it, and we're not getting into the reasons, I think this is a moot discussion.
I will speak to my client. I don't believe that we'll need to have a historian with all of the proof that has been shown. But at this, for a new buyer, the question is there. Can we get a demo permit? And I think I'm not going to be the only one in the real estate community, but you're going to be seeing more and more realtors who are, we have this question thrown upon us all the time. And the only way to find out is to go get the answers.
Okay, well, that's fine. We're here. So you've heard the board. Now I'm going to ask council, are we under any time restrictions? I mean, in as much as Marianne has asked to speak to her client as to whether or not the client wishes to proceed in continuing this application request. Do we have any time constraints relative to when the board has to make a decision or how it needs to act? Or do we put that aside based on her request to adjourn?
Our time constraints begin when we have a complete file. And if the board needs to engage a historian in order to review this request, then at that time, the file is not complete. So that's my answer to that.
Okay, so the file is deemed incomplete at this point. So I appreciate, Marianne, your coming before us. I appreciate you listening to us and the public comments. And as I said, I know Mr. Zulas's concern for the village is real, and I hope he will take, I hope you will share with him not only the thoughts, but the actual video, which he could see. And then I leave it to you if you choose to proceed or not. Okay, but what I hear you asking for is an adjournment to have that conversation with Mr. Zulas. And so, am I correct on that?
Yes, I ask for an adjournment, please.
Yes, okay, thank you so much. So I move that we accept the applicant's request to adjourn to our next meeting. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great. Okay, thank you. And thank you, Marianne, because this is, the process, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you very
All
much.
right. Take care.
Yeah, Jeff, is it safe to say there are resources that currently exist in the building department that would help guide this type of issue from a real estate agent or anyone else in the village?
It's a good question. There are historic guidelines. There's the code. I don't know. We can have a discussion maybe at the end and get some advice from council as well as to what we could do, if anything. I think Marianne raises a good point, and we've seen it. And to the extent part of our charge is to provide education. So
We can take this offline. Yeah.
yeah, to the extent we can. Okay, so let's get to the next application, which is that of, and I may need some Alves Orsini, excuse me, and Jeffroy van der Riem, I pronounced it well previously, van der Dunk. And this is at 143 Herrick Road.
I have affidavits on this one as well, Jeff.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Gary Sanders wanted to come in and William Schleit.
okay.
I believe we also do not have a digital file on this one.
We don't. I
There
thought-
was one submitted, digital file.
Let me,
Yeah.
let me see, hold on a second, Kat. This is 143.
It was submitted both to Jackie and Derek, the full digital file.
Do you remember what day, Gary?
I could check my email.
It might help.
Yeah, okay.
It was submitted last Thursday
Okay.
before noon.
Okay. I don't have it.
Thank you for that.
I don't have it either.
You don't.
Nope.
No.
They requested it and we sent it off.
Let me just see.
Well, I think we have prints, so maybe.
You
could
do have,
I was in the building department this morning. They confirmed to me that they had it.
We have prints.
Yeah, would you be able to share your screen, Gary?
yes, I have,
Okay.
I have everything digitized so I can show the screen as we go through. the
Okay.
process.
Wonderful.
All right, thanks, Gary, that'll help.
Okay. So I'm sure most of you are familiar with the property 143 Herrick Road. The house is a historic landmark house, but it is not in the historic district. We are not asking to demo the house. Our clients actually love the house and would like to make it into a family home. Right now, it's just very dark, very small, very cramped, and our client would like to do a couple additions to the property. So I can take you through the digital, if I can show my screen here. And
If you need assistance, let me know. And you don't.
I've become a pro.
Nice.
So we can see the first floor plan here of the existing house and the revision cloud around what we are proposing. So there are two kind of areas that we will talk about tonight. We are requesting a 1,200 square foot addition to the west of the current house. And the addition would have similarities to what is existing materials, but clad in a more a cedar shingle that would differentiate the new addition from the old. So we would like to keep some of the details, some of the window detailing. The windows that we're proposing are wood. The parapet, which is copper, we would like to keep that material for the new roof. And we would like to have a cedar shingle siding as the exterior. So if you look at the elevations of the project, I'll bring it up here. Might be helpful if I bring up the 3D image. Can everybody see that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. So to the left is the proposed addition, and with this being more subservient to the existing house with the higher second floor and the higher tower, as you approach the property, you still get the view of the original house. There's not really a, you're not going to walk onto the property and be like, that new addition is what was the original house. There'll be a clear definition of materials between the old and the new. So we would like to use the house has gone through many changes in the trim color. Originally, we think the house was commercially used. We have evidence of a vocal studio, a hat shop, dressmaker, music studio, which I can show you the historic photo that we have of that. So, which may explain why the weird entry with the 3 doors and the staircase, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But our client now wishes to use it as a residence. It's no longer going to be a commercial space. I believe the village was thinking about purchasing it in the 60s as the post office. And it kind of functions as a commercial building. It has ties to, if you look around the village, the historic commercial buildings with the white trim and the brick. This is not that structure. It is a residence. It is for a family. So we have the new entry, and I can bring up the plan. See here. So currently, the main entry to the house has 3 doors. You approach through one of 3 staircases. So the center is to go down to the lower level. The 2 flanking stairs are to go into the first floor area. And we think that is because it was broken up into 2 spaces. For the research that we did, it was a tea parlor on one side, the vocal studio on the other. So it gave a way for the businesses in the structure to separate. There is no, right now, except for a very narrow, tiny circular staircase, there's no way to get up and down between the floors except to go outside and go down into the lower level. So what we are proposing is to enclose the current stair. We're not going out any further than where the staircase is, but we would like to enclose it to be able to have a central stair to come in out of the rain and to go up and down the floors inside, like most normal houses, inside the structure. So I'm going to bring up a historic photo that we have found. Okay, can we all see that?
Mm-hmm.
And it says Simmons Vocal Studio on it. I'm not sure when this was taken, but obviously the house has gone through many battles with the ivy on it. So it's been a constant battle between owners and gardeners to, sometimes you see it a little less, sometimes you see it like in this picture, it's completely covered. It is doing damage to the actual, to the brick and the mortar and the trim on the house. It holds a lot of water and it is causing issues with the structure. But one thing you can see in this photo is that originally the porch was enclosed. It had a mutton bar breakup of the windows and the doors. And once you came into the single door, which looks like it has a screen door on it right now. So once you came in there, you went into either the left or the right part of the house. So what we're proposing is to replicate this this enclosure, which is not there, and it's not on the house right now. The roof is, and the columns and the side windows are there, but the front of it is gone. So what we are proposing is to replicate this, but replicate it at the base of the stairs. So the new set of exterior stairs would be centered, as you can see in the photo here. So with these sweeping stairs and the pushback center part, this new footprint is over the existing set of stairs. And now you would enter up, enter into one single door and enter into the house. Makes it a little bit more easier with a family and being a residence instead of a commercial property. So going back to the floor plan here, you can see where we're replicating the doors and windows of what was previously there and bringing it out to the edge and having a new set of stairs placed in the front. We did take this to the ZBA, and the ZBA did not have an issue with it, but they would not vote on it without a reference from the ARB to approve it. So what they said was, take it to the ARB, see what their feelings are on the project. If they approve it, we have no problem with asking for the minor variance that we needed. So it was 18 square feet is what we originally needed. The very southern east side of the stair is what we needed the variance for. So ARB's ZBA said they didn't have a problem with it as long as ARB was on board with that.
Again, just for clarity, ZBA, and Gary stated it accurately, but I just wanted to be clear. The ZBA, the variance being sought had only to do with the front entrance, correct?
That's
Gary?
correct. We didn't need a variance for any other part of the project.
Right, right.
Everything else fits. We're within setbacks and we're within lot coverage, GFA, all that. So the only part we needed was the very tip of the stair for the ZBA. So I can bring that up real quick.
No, that's good. You're here, you presented it accurately. I just wanted it to be clear. I see, Bill, did you have comments to add before we solicit the board comments?
The only thing I would like to reiterate.
Out of formality, Bill, just introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Bill Slight. I'm the principal architect. The only thing that I would like to reiterate is that the history of this building is really quite fascinating. And it appears that it was built with at least 3 separate commercial spaces, 2 on the principal floor and the 3rd in the lower level. And the lower level, we believe, may have been the workshop for Edward Elliston, the designer builder of the building. And through the teens and 20s and perhaps even through the 30s and even after post-war, the second floor of the building was divided. In 1964, there was an application made to the building department, for which we have a record and which is in the file, that shows that the wall separating the hallway that would link up the east and west parts of the building, the 2 commercial spaces, was in '64 removed, and at that point, the floor plans were unified. So the reason I'm bringing that up is that was the reason why at the time this had this bifurcated entry, appropriate, of course, for 2 different commercial spaces, not very appropriate for a single-family residence.
Okay, good. Thank you for shedding light on that, Bill. Board members, comments? Sarah?
Yeah, I would refer the applicants really back to the Secretary of Interior's guidelines. You've said that there is a clear differentiation using materials, but in analyzing the impact of new additions to old buildings, this is one of 5 individual landmarks. And it is a very significant building within this village. The addition is 1,200 square feet. It is not subservient in that it juts out into the original courtyard, forming an L shape, which was never there. And it really runs counter to the principles by not respecting the principle of being recessive. It interferes with the picturesque massing of the landmark, destroys historic materials, and would ultimately not be very reversible. One of the first things they talk about in the approach of adding a new structure is that, is there any manner possible that you can repurpose some of the interior spaces to do what you need to do? Have you thought about going out in a linear fashion past that walled enframement off the kitchen and going further westward rather than jutting out into the courtyard? The other thing is that it has an overall appearance as a dwarf building, in that you've got a one-story building with crenellations, and I mean, it sort of boggles the mind as far as use. Do you are you still throwing boiling oil over these crenellations on the ground floor? I think there may be better solutions. One of the other 5 buildings that is an individual landmark is 330 Hampton Road, which has that unfortunate addition to the back of it, but at least it's at the rear of the building, and it's clearly, there's no confusion with what's historic and what's not. So that's all I have to say.
Peter?
Could I comment?
Well, I second everything.
Yeah. Let's do this. Let's hear from the board.
Okay.
And then you can comment, and then we'll also open it up to the public in case there's any public comment.
Okay.
And then, okay?
Sure.
Peter.
I second everything Sarah says, and the front entrance revision is not permissible at all. You're misrepresenting it. You're extending the enclosure. You're tripling the enclosure. It sticks out maybe 5 feet now. You're bringing it out 15 feet, and then you're having the stairs. That is what the most that existing feature is, the defining, that duality of entrance is the defining character of this house, and you got to keep it. That's, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it is a landmark after all. I think it's fine to put the stairs somewhere within your existing envelopes. So you don't have to extend out like that. I agree with this is a tower element without a base. So no, it looks funny. It looks stubby, like Sarah said. And this building needs to be embraced with a minimalist kiss, not a bear hug. And that's what this is. I just think it's too heavy, too muscular, too imitative. I think you should try a modern solution. Something lighter, something more like the garden that it's replacing.
Interesting. Okay, John.
I agree. I like the fact that different materials are being used for the addition to distinguish it from the original structure. But I agree with Peter in that it tries too hard to mimic the design of that original house. And while I'm not sure if a contemporary structure would be the right thing, I think it's worth additional options to see how you can, even with that L shape, I don't see as much an issue with that, as long as it is has less of an impact in the overall design and look of the house.
So it's interesting hearing my fellow board members, because sometimes we use different words to describe similar things or feelings. So when you first spoke and you spoke of this as subservient, I drew a big circle around that and a question mark. And Peter and some of the other folks have said it well, which is the nature of, well, the footprint itself, the parapets or whatever those are called, but basically it looks like a fortress. And the jutting out into the courtyard changes. It just makes it look, as Peter said, more of a bear hug than a minimalist attempt. And I think, you know, you deserve kudos for taking this very awkward house in terms of internal structure and trying to do something with it. But I do not find that which is proposed to be truly subservient, to truly follow the guidelines Secretary of Interior, as Sarah has pointed out, and could alter. And as I look at the stairs, might there be the way they come out like that? It changes the otherwise Gothic look of the house. I don't know if there are alternatives. Maybe you folks can think of that. But in any event, I think there are some solutions that are worth looking at. Anyway, I'll turn it back to you, Gary and Bill.
Okay. Well, one of the reasons that it became the location of the addition on the property is because of the way that the house is currently situated on the lot. I mean, we're like 4 feet from the back property line. So there's really there's no way to do the addition off to the west. With the location of the pool and the current terrace, we don't have the setbacks and we don't have the square footage to the west to do it. I know that this is one of 5 landmarked properties in the village, but if you look, except for the house on Meadow Lane, although the Halsey house is a museum, the other ones are commercial uses. This house is not that. This house is a residence. And I think if you go back and you look at architecture where there has been a modern design element added on to the existing historic house, I don't think it's been that successful as far as.
Yeah, listen, that's your choice. It's just that I
Yeah.
think you need another approach. I just suggested one might be that way.
Okay.
But honestly, I'd look at contemporary architecture. Everything it's filled with very light garden-like structures covered with plants and stuff. I mean,
Transparent.
and also maybe you could look at your program. If it didn't jut out so far, it would be less. The less it stuck out, the more acceptable it would be. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So to Peter's point, at least I think to Peter's point, is it does not appear to be subservient. And it's more than just the numbers. It's the massing, it's the scaling, and it doesn't have a human scale. And I think that's what's happening. You have an open courtyard, which presents a human scale, and then you've got this Gothic piece, and it's only different in the fact that it's shingled. I see the first piece coming out, which has very straight lines, and I dare say is more contemporary than Gothic. I'm good up until there, and saying, gee, yeah, I can see adding that on. That sort of, you still have the openness of the courtyard. The scaling is still open, and it doesn't seem as massive as what you have, which, as you say, is a difficult property. But now you've even made it more massive and overpowering the property. So to the extent there's a creative way of creating a residence in a structure that is not necessarily well configured to be a residence and provide some additional light and room with less massiveness and less being less devoid of human scale, I think you have the workings there to work with.
Okay. So,
If I may, Jeff.
Yeah.
The sizing for this addition is just about the most sensitive place on the property that it could be placed. And if you look at our plan, you'll notice that the addition only interferes with the fabric of the existing building for about 6.5 feet at the southwest corner. It leaves all of the rest of the building intact. And you mentioned scaling, and you said you didn't feel it was human scale. The current building it provides all of the scale for the addition. And if you think that it has a monumental feeling to it, I would suggest that perhaps that was the intent of the designer back in 1910. He was, the story goes, inspired by his native Scotland, by structures that he was familiar with there, and gave it a name that suggested that heritage. So yes, it does present in a somewhat monumental way. The guidelines suggest that the addition should be read as different from and an addition to the original building. And that was the full reason why the choice of shingles was made, so that we didn't try to build another brick addition that would confuse anyone looking at it as to what was original and what is new. We make an effort when in following the way the board seems to respond for other properties. And we looked at this. It's a very unusual building. It's not something that other types or styles of architecture could happily marry to. So we felt that following the vocabulary that was established by the existing building would be the most logical way to approach this. And as I said, we chose materials that would differentiate it. I also want to point out that this is for a person's use, and a person has the right to enjoy their property, to use it to the extent that other properties of similar size and location are able to be used, to have the floor area ratio that would be available to any other property of this size, which this does. In fact, it's smaller than the full ratio that would be provided or allowed. We certainly wouldn't want to try to add to the top of the building. We would interfere with the pyramid law. We can't add to the west of the building, as Sarah suggested, because we would be in need of a full variance to build the building 4 feet to the property line, which certainly would be objected to by the neighboring properties. They also, by doing that, would disrupt the garden, which is actually one of the other distinguishing features of the property. We tried to find a place where would be the least impact, most logical, within the bounds of the code, and we made a good attempt here. I think the board is being a little harsh and a little too critical of a real sincere.
I've heard enough. I've heard enough. I'm sorry, Bill. This is not a demure addition. Let the man who built it in 1898 or whatever it was, let this be his monument. It's 120 years later. We don't do his monument again in shingles, okay? Do something of this time.
You know, I think a house that.
And let me just say something else. I
Sure, sorry.
have no problem with where you're putting the addition. I agree, you have no choice. It's what you're designing. You're doing, you know, you come out at one level and you pop up and you make a monumental competitor, a stubby competitor to the authentic tower. It's
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Peter.
not well composed in my view.
What do you
It
mean?
doesn't, and the entrance is a complete shame. You cannot do that. That's all I have to say. I think we should move to the next application.
I believe we made an attempt to explain why
I
new
heard your
entrance-
explanation. It doesn't change
you
the
know-
way it looks, Bill. It doesn't change the way it looks.
we really, well, you know, we showed you the picture of the picture taken when it was a vocal studio. That entry had a gridded infill. The only
It was not
difference is-
15 by 15, Bill. It was 5 by 15. Okay, you're tripling the size of the historic size of it.
I'm sorry,
Let me suggest this.
it's not 5. You know, it's more like 7, and it's more like
You tripled it. Okay, you tripled it.
No, we doubled it. But-
So, gentlemen,
Equally bad.
gentlemen,
No,
let's hold
I
that.
mean, I just don't want to, you know, have it on record that it's triple. It's not. It's double.
Okay, all right. Let's not quibble over that. The record isn't as important as the fact that I think you've heard some relatively consistent comments from the board, Gary, that you and Bill can take back with you. I think of another house that had much bigger, much more property, but also had the same issue of brick and grandeur and wanted to add some space. And that's the one, I think it was 199 Captain's Neck. Peter Denoya did that one.
I don't remember.
Okay. Anyway, I'll pull it out and share it with you. But it doesn't matter because this is a very unusual house, and you're right. This is a good attempt, and I think the board has been consistent in expressing their concerns. And Gary, I think it behooves you and Bill to go back and take that into consideration, see if you can work it a bit differently. And I think we'll come out with a good-looking house, and you'll be saving an historic landmark.
Okay.
Jeff, I just want you to know there's one hand up.
Okay, well, we're going to get public comments in a second.
That's what I'm.
Just to kind of reiterate, so the board is, they would be allow an addition, okay? But I'm not quite sure how the board feels on the front entry.
I think
know
I was
that-
clear about my position.
Yeah.
Sarah, could you chip in?
You've been very clear, but I'm wondering what the other members of the board. would
Well,
think.
if you
Ask
look at,
that.
if you look at the original blue form that was missing at the buildings department, I got a copy sent from the state. And at that point in 1979, there was a opening, a glassed enclosure that was very similar to the photograph that you showed.
Yeah.
But the stairs go out, and I'm totally against bringing the glassed enfrainment out beyond the existing and adding to it a stair that has nothing to do with the design.
Okay.
I have less an issue with the glass and then the windows as I do just the design of the staircase. I think it's to me, it seems uncharacteristic of the design of the original structure. And like, as in the picture you showed us, the staircase was just a very straight, step
Very
down to
linear.
ground level.
Yeah.
Making that wider, as it actually was shown in the original picture, for me, I think that's fine. I just don't like the
Flare.
the flare of that staircase. It just doesn't seem in character with the original structure.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Would that be something that that you might entertain, that we were able to, if we change that design, that we still might be able to have the entry be a little larger so that we could accommodate the plan that we're trying to achieve within the building, so that we can have a better linkage between the upper floor and the lower floor, have the program as designed, go forward with the interior part of the building. I think perhaps you may be more responsive to it if we did straighten up the center set of stairs.
I'm against moving it forward, and I think that this is such an important building that we should have a total board in on this.
Sarah, I understand your feeling, but all architecture is dynamic. Each serves the different eras in which the building is used. This house, this building, is going to be much more of a residence. It's finally going to give up the old plan inside that had bifurcated the spaces and made the lower level very dark. You have to. I believe architecture, can be something that can change a little over time and take some inspiration from what is there, and not necessarily have to be a museum piece that freezes the building in some ancient time and the use that it is and a function in this particular instance that it's outgrown.
In normal circumstances, that might be a reasonable thing, but because this particular property is landmarked, I think it's a different conversation.
And Bill Sofield and managed to live there quite happily and entertain there quite happily, and it was not, in my opinion, dark and dreary. I think from an interior standpoint, you've got other options and you're gifted, so pursue them. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so let's hear from the public and then let you guys go home and digest it. Okay, public comment?
In comes Alvis Orsini.
Alvis Orsini is not a member of the public, but he's
the home, Mr.
He's an important voice. So so just I want to make sure. Yes, we do want to hear from you, Alvis. But is there any public folks out there?
There are no hands up besides
Okay, Alvis, unmute and tell us who you are and where you live, although where you live is the property in question. So unmute, please.
There you go.
Can you all hear me now?
Yes.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for taking my call. I just wanted to let you know a little bit about what as a person wanted to do. And I wanted to say that I know Bill Sofield, first of all, who I admire very much. We are very good friends. Bill Sofield and I share the same type of business. I'm an interior designer. I'm an Italian interior designer. I'm from Venice. And all my life, I worked on historical interiors. That's what I do. That's what I like. And that's that makes me really happy. The difference is that Bill Sofield had an incredible time at the Ball Castle, but he didn't have a family. I have 2 kids, they're 5 years old. And so therefore I'm trying to make this a little bit more livable for us. Now, as I said, the most important thing for me is actually to keep history. And that for me is number one. So I do hear all your comments and I do think that you have good points. I'm learning from things. I mean, I'm definitely not an expert on all the things that you are expert of in Southampton. I'm very happy to work with William and Gary in order to adapt the house. We have basically worked on the footprint that we were allowed to and on the space we were allowed to. Now, the major problem with this house is that there's no verticality between the lower floor and the main floor. There's only a very tiny staircase, which is quite dangerous actually, even for anyone who goes up and down. So of course we can find it within the space, then reduces the livable space. So then, therefore, we have to create an extensions. I almost agree with you that maybe the extension can be much lighter. I'm very happy to do type of pergola or something that looks like the pavilion that is in the garden, the octagonal, the beautiful octagonal pavilion, which is probably one of the reasons why I also bought the house, is because it's so magical that to me represents the unicity of this property. So I'm very happy to go to that direction if that's something that makes you feel better about the way we want to approach and change or add anything. And even what I like to say, I'm very happy also to make compromises with everything, because I love the building very much. And I don't think that there are many people in at the moment that they are very sensible to this kind of buildings, and that they will be able to see a future or a modern life in this kind of building. But I do, or we do. And the other thing that I wanted to tell you about why we try to move forward the porch, Bill told you very well. But I'm also very happy to, if that could be an approach that you might reconsider, is that I'm very happy to do the 2 stairs. So I'm very happy to copy exactly what it's in there and move it forward twice in order to obtain that verticality. And I would make, I mean, the idea would be to basically to copy what's in there with the 2 steps going up, 1 going down, as exactly it is, and just moving that forward as we said. That would change to us the usability of the house and especially the lower floor. With that, given that, I'm very happy to reduce the footprint of the new building, because then I wouldn't need to take space from the inside and then add more on the building and removing space from the beautiful garden. Because if there is one thing that I love about this house, is that there is a secret English garden. I feel like I'm going to see Mrs. Havisham, and then and that's what I want to keep. The point is that I also have 2 little kids, and I want them to enjoy that house and to run into this magical garden, because that's what I grew up with in Venice, and that's what I like to give them possibility to, and also to give to Southampton something back that is so important, but that has been neglected for a little while because of many reasons. I do love the house very much, so I will not do anything to change its nature. I would not go modern, I'm sorry to say, because I don't think that I would rather go very simple rather than contemporary, because I don't want to put my own ego into this house. I think that this house has its own major ego, and I want to work with it. You have to be humble sometimes in life, many times, and I like to be humble to the house. So what I tried to do with extension, it was trying to be respectful of the house. Now I understand your point of view, and we work towards that. And I hope that you will also find our next proposal more in style with what you think. But I just wanted to let you know that.
You've made plenty of suggestions in your commentary that suggest you'll do just that. So I'm confident in what the next version will look like. And even your comments about the extension having a lower profile, I think that is a great suggestion, and maybe that's the solution.
Perfect. I hope you'll like it next time a little better.
Thank you.
Okay, so unless there's any public comment, which you said there's not, I will assume Albie, speaking for himself, has asked for an adjournment. And there's a lot to be done here. And Albie, you're right, the process is one of an iterative nature. Bill has gone through it. Gary, I believe, has as well. And invariably, we come out with a house and a product that works for everyone. We want you to use the house. We want you to honor the house as you are. So the various trade-offs internally and exterior wise. Yeah, like John, I believe you'll do the right thing. So with that said, I move that we accept the applicant's request to adjourn. Elvis, Bill, and Gary, I don't know if by next Thursday is enough time for you to do stuff. If you need more than that, the timeline is yours.
We'll have a internal, I guess, meeting and see what timeline looks like for revising everything and getting it to you.
Yeah, okay. So while we will adjourn it to the next meeting. There's no penalty if you tell us on that Thursday morning when stuff is due that you want to put it off to the following session, that's fine too. So I move that we accept the applicant's request to adjourn. Do I have a second on that?
Second?
Second by Sarah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that's Peter and John. Say aye. Thank you, gentlemen. All right.
Thank you.
We'll
Thank
see you
Thank you.
next time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Good
Elvis.
night.
All right, take care. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so let's see if we can move along here. We've got a couple of adjournments and some driveway gates. So, okay, driveway gates in the historic district. We have first on the docket is DCK Wyndham LLC at 35 Herrick Road. For driveway gates to replace the legal gates that are there.
Laura Santana. Lauro Santana. Hi, Lauro, you're in. You need to unmute and start your camera.
Sure. Let's just gotta mute and start the camera. And here I am.
Okay,
All right.
so Laura, tell us who you are and who you represent.
Perfect.
Then also, okay, go ahead. And I'm going to ask you if you have digital, if you submitted a digital version.
Yes, my name is Lauro Santana. I'm with IAL Security System, and I represent the owner of 35 Herrick's Road. That would be Michelle and Sonny Kelsey. And that's for, I believe there's an adjournment that we had, right, from a previous meeting.
Mhm.
And we are trying to get, as you understand, there was some gates that the homeowner put it in there, but they were not up to standards of code. So we are trying to make that.
Well, actually, they put them up without going through the proper process. So it's a matter of standard of code. They just put them up without approval. So it's, we'll put that aside. As far as we're concerned, there are no gates there now.
Correct. So I did submit the application with the gate designs, with the gate picture as well. Previously, I did not submit digitally, but I would believe that you guys might have that on the paperwork that was originally submitted, if I'm not mistaken.
That I don't know.
Okay.
I saw your card assigned to 2 applications tonight, right?
Correct. I have one for the neighbor, which is Paul Fagan as well. Yeah.
Right. And I didn't know which applied to which.
Correct. They actually have the same, we are applying for the same style of gates. They wanted to get both the same style of gate.
All right, well, let me see. I don't know, Kat, do you have anything from Laura?
What is the address? I have them under addresses if I have them.
Sure. 35 Herrick's Road.
Nope. And what is the other?
What are the other one is 32 South Main Street. I believe that's Paul Fagan's.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't have any of the driveway gates, Jeff.
Now, I should have a picture on my computer so I can share it, I believe.
You
Okay.
can. I can tell you how to do it if you don't know how to.
So I have a little green sign over here that says share screen, right?
Oh, the first thing you do is choose your photo
Oh, okay. So
that it's on your desktop, ready to go.
okay, perfect. Hold on.
Mhm.
So we're talking about Michelle Kelsey. I'm gonna bring it up. The actual picture that it's the actual gate that we were proposing for her. Let's put it that way.
Okay, and then when you click share screen, you have to choose which screen you want. And
Okay.
And
I'll
and then choose the screen and click share again on the right.
Okay,
Mhm.
share.
There you go.
There you go. All right, let me just move this here. All right. So basically, this is the gate that we were proposing for it. Those are louver panel gates. This gate here, actually, we built it for as per customer request, so would match the rest of the house. These gates, they actually match all the other gates like garage doors and pool gates that she has on the property. So they are like a copycat of it, let's put it that way. Okay. The dimensions are 14 feet wide by 6 foot height. That covers the entire length of the driveway.
Okay.
Um,
So Laura, and maybe, so the issue with the existing gate was twofold. One, the applicant did not file a proper procedure.
Understood.
Secondly, it's a gate that I doubt the board would have approved because like this gate, and I'm to save everybody some time here, is, as far as I can see, solid, correct?
Yes, correct. Yes.
Right. So in Southampton, and with the board I've been on the board for 6 years and we've been very consistent on this. While you do have the right for gates, we endeavor to create an open community, a community that is not a walled community. It's bad enough that we have hedges around most properties. We ask, and we've been very consistent with this, that gates have at least a 50% transparency. It's not a hard and fast rule, plus or minus, but then see through them. This doesn't even approach that. So I'm not even going to task my other board members for saying exactly what I would say. So unless, Laura, you can come back with a gate that is open to a house that was built with love and care and is an attractive house, and that passerbys can feel that they're included as opposed to excluded, then you're going to have a good chance. But right now, and board members, you're welcome to chime in, but this would not pass our muster. And council, I'm overstating what I should state and give the other board members an opportunity. By all means, I don't want to be the sole arbiter.
You're spot on, Jeff.
you are, Jeff, and I would also please ask that you do a plan and elevation to scale. I don't think I can't tell. It's not set in context. It's every other gate application. There's a plan of the curb,
Right.
and there's an elevation with posts, if any. This is incomplete. We could not even approve it now if we liked it.
Right. And so I think, and when you come back on the Paul Fagan application, the comment.
Actually, I'm going to interrupt you there. I don't have affidavits on the Paul Fagan application.
Okay. All right.
So we can hear it.
So we can't even discuss that. But the thing that I noticed on the application that we're not going to discuss is, like Peter was saying, it was devoid of any specs that tell us the dimensions, that the spacing of the slats, the placement on the property, a landscape, not a plan, but a perimeter plan, a survey that shows where it's going to be, where the distance from the road, I would suggest going to the building department and have them show you what is normally submitted for gates, for fear that I may leave something out. But this application, as Peter said, is having that solid versus transparent is devoid of the information we need to even review it.
Understood, because I actually did submit the application with the survey, the original for the houses and also for Paul Fagan. Your building department gave me a copy of the application, which I marked down the location for the gate. He had the right measurements, the distance from the road. I'm not sure if you guys got that there.
Okay,
Yeah,
so maybe we missed that, but
okay.
we will need that and in digital form so we can share it with the public. But the biggest thing, Laura, is the
Transparency.
transparency.
Can I just hold up what would be a complete application just for a visual? See,
Of
we
course.
have an elevation, we
Yes.
have posts, we have heights, we have dimensions, we have a plan.
Material.
Exactly. I
We-
sent that in.
Okay,
I
this is
did
what we
send
can
that
do.
in.
Thank you.
And I apologize. I've been
Okay.
sick at home for the past week and I did
Don't
not have a chance to go to my office. But
Right,
I will try to resolve this week so I
Thanks.
can get all the papers.
Okay,
in
all right,
for you
great.
guys.
And then while we have you here,
Yes,
Alice was saying on the Paul Fagan application is that have the affidavits, and without the affidavits of mailing and posting, we can't even talk about.
I do have that here. My office sent me that, the 10 letters that
Okay.
went out.
All right, so provide that to the building department. So in the case, unless, Jackie, is there any public comment? I mean, not Jackie,
Yeah.
Kat. Sorry.
There's no hands up, Jeff.
Okay, great. So Laura, the two things. One, there's a concern about the design. Two, the file, at least from what we have, is incomplete. So if you can just verify that. So both your request and our request, I move that we adjourn this application to our next session. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you, Laura.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it.
All
Okay,
right.
and so Alice, we're just gonna move on to in terms of 35, not 35, but in terms of the Paul Fagan 32 South Main, we'll just note it that we don't have affidavits when we come up to it. Okay. Okay. So, all right, folks. So the next application is Michael and Nina Whitman at 36 First Neck Lane.
Mark Cirillo.
Okay. Okay.
Hi, Mark, you're in. Unmute, start your camera, please. Thank you.
Greetings.
Hello.
Mark, tell us who you are and your firm and who you represent.
Mark Cirillo from AutoGate Systems, representing the Whitman residents, 36 First Neck Lane, Southampton Village.
Right, okay. And Mark, when you were here before, we spoke about increased spacing and taking a look at the sample we provided to the building department. So why don't you pick it up from there?
Okay, so ARB requested increasing the spacing to at least 2 inches, which we've done that. We've eliminated a picket, we spread the pickets out, so they're now 2 1/16 of an inch between spacing of 1.5 inch picket, as shown on the elevation sketch.
Mhm.
Okay,
Right,
so the clients accepted that.
okay, thank you. And then you provided the Agoya construction, the material.
Sequoia, yeah,
Sequoia. I don't know if everybody had a chance to see it, but it's, as Mark said, it's not composite wood, it's treated wood.
correct.
The only thing I see, and I'm going to let the other board members speak for themselves, is in the last hearing, you said there were going to be no lanterns. In this one, now there are lanterns.
So if I may, so right, the client has existing columns now, and they have existing lanterns. And she's directed me to include lanterns, replacing the lanterns on the new piers. The new columns are smaller than what's there existing. So, but it would be utilizing the columns that are there now, or utilizing the lanterns that are there now. So what I did was, and if we need to, I can screen share
Yeah.
I went around the neighborhood. So directly across the street, directly next door, south, directly next door, north, every single driveway has lanterns. So I went back to the Whitmans and said, well, I'm going to present it as that because you have them existing and every property within sight of yours has lanterns as well.
Okay, well, let me turn it over to the board members. Lady and gentlemen.
I think it looks great.
Okay.
I like the lanterns. You're right. They're everywhere on First Neck.
Thank you.
John, Sarah.
Fine.
Okay, Mark.
Fine.
Good. Sounds like unless there's public comment to the contrary, you may be good to go.
There is no comment.
Okay, so I move that we accept the applicant's request.
Closed for written decision on this one.
Oh, that's right. Thank you for catching me, keeping me honest. Okay, it'll go to written decision. Alice, that should be pretty simple. We should have that by next session.
I'll have it for the next meeting.
Okay. All right, Mark.
And that's for, just so I can explain to the client, that's for.
So the process is that any property within the historic district, the decision has to be in written form. Okay, so it's a matter of process. However, because I know you're so eager to get to work, don't do anything until that's signed, okay? You don't have a valid permit until the written decision is signed and until the files are signed as well, okay?
Thank you.
Thank
Your
you.
nose clean, young fella.
Thanks.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mark. Oh, did we, I move that we move the application to written decision. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second from Peter, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye from John, aye from Sarah, aye from me. All right, thanks, Mark. Thank you, Alice.
Good night.
Take care. Okay. So now, and let's see if we can pick up a little bit of head steam. Part of these are now public hearings, non-historic. Heart of Hamptons has been adjourned pending site approval. Leland Abrams is number 2 at 187 Meeting House Lane for 2-story dwelling. So would the applicant come on down?
Okay, Brian Glasser's coming in.
Okay.
And this one, I think we actually have a digital file for.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, that was a conversation between us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Brian's in. Brian, start your microphone and your camera, please. Thank you. Hello.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Hey, Brian, tell us who you are, your firm, and who you represent.
Brian Glasser, representing 187 Meeting House Lane. I'm the architect, Brian Glasser, architect.
Okay.
187 Meeting House Lane is the house that we're talking about. I sent in some new renderings and elevations. The main point that you guys had me on the last round that really had to be taken care of were just the window sizes on the front elevation, south side. And you wanted me to remove the little, I guess.
Try 16, Kat.
What was that?
16.
Yeah, that's all. That's probably enough.
Okay.
If you could zoom in, maybe that would. Sorry, with these renderings, it kind of get
This
jumbled.
one? Why is 16? Okay. Yeah, I'll zoom in. There you go. That one?
No, these are old.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. Oh, wait. Yeah,
These are
these are
old.
old because there's 4 windows there. It should be 3.
All right, hold on. Let me come here.
I can share my screen and show you.
Yeah,
mine.
let's do that.
Okay, I can just, that's fine. Let me just stop share. There you go.
Okay. Thanks, Peter.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so can you guys see my rendering here?
Yes.
So the main, so the last comment that we had was the you were requesting that we made the windows smaller over the foyer and the master bathroom. And I originally had little pitch pockets within the roof lines, which we eliminated. So now the roof line kind of dies in, and then the window is above that point. That happened over the front entry and this area over the garage. So those are the only comments that we had on the last meeting, which I addressed.
Lovely.
It looks great. Thank you, Brian, really.
No problem. Yeah, I like it too. I mean, I always try to work with whatever ARB for the most part when I see, there's certain things, and if I can roll with it and I always think I can make it better than what you guys even say. So if I,
Well, you did it. You did it.
from where it originally was, I think it's gonna be a sharp looking
Yeah,
house.
it's
Yeah,
a
it's
vast
sharp.
departure from the original plan.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Thanks
The
so
next
much.
house,
It's
I have
lovely.
another house that I'm working on. I think you guys are gonna like it too.
Okay, good.
Because I take everything you guys are saying, and I think I can pick up what you guys are.
I don't know if I take everything, but
What your goal is here, So
Thank you.
Okay, all right, good. Any public comment?
There are no hands up, Jeff.
Okay, so that being said, I move that we accept the application of Leland Abrams, 187 Meeting House Lane for two-story dwelling with plans submitted as of October 21st, 2021. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second by Peter. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, everybody, that's unanimous. Thank you, Brian.
thanks
Thank
everyone.
you.
Yep.
So 31 Roscoe developer has put in a request to adjourn to November 8th. I move that we accept the applicant's request to adjourn to November 8th. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
A second by Peter. All in favor? Aye. Okay, that's unanimous. That's adjourned. Thank you. Next is Taylor First LLC at 55 Toilsome Lane to construct a two-story single-family dwelling. This is a carryover. Now we're in new plans. So whoever is speaking for the applicant.
Greg Tankersley.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay.
There he is.
Good evening.
Greg.
Hey, Greg, introduce yourself. Tell us who you represent.
Yes, I'm Greg Tankersley with McAlpin, and I'm representing the owners of the property at 55 Tolson Lane.
Okay. And at the last meeting, there was some concern about at least the materials, the brick and the trim.
Yes, I will go over and can I share my screen to go over the drawing? Would that be okay?
Sure.
I'll address the architectural suggestions that you had, and then Perry Guyot is going to talk about the landscaping and the parking in the front.
Perry is in and he keeps raising his hand. He doesn't realize he's in, I think. So Perry, if you could unmute and start your camera, you're in. There you are. Good.
Good evening. Hi.
Hello.
All right.
I have some renderings, Jeff, if you want me to share my screen.
Yes, sure.
I think there were two items, at least on the house. The first of which was on the side. So if you'll go to slide 2 would be good. There on the east and west elevation where we have these stair towers, we had a very monumental window in those at the end of those stair towers, and the board had suggested reducing the size of that so we wouldn't have such a big lantern facing the neighbors. So what I did was basically take a window type that we had on the front the house that's in the gables and put it at the landing of the stair and did a smaller window in that area. The other item, and I don't know if you've got, I know we submitted some color samples because I think that was the second thing. We submitted a white color that's a real warm white. It's Benjamin Moore White Dove, that the brick will be lime washed in that color. And then there was a bronze coloration that we are suggesting for the windows and doors.
Okay. Were you able to go into the building department and see those samples? Okay, good, thank you.
Yes, and then Perry is going to speak. I know the only other issue we had was with the parking in the front of the house, and Perry wanted to speak to that. So I'm gonna let him do that.
Hi, excuse me. Hi, everyone. Do you have the digital of the two plans for the parking?
I only have these 6 photos.
Okay, I'll try the screen share.
Okay, I will unshare. Do you need help?
Yeah, walk me through. I have the.
Okay, so on your computer, choose your photo so that you can see it.
1 second. Yes.
Okay, now there's a bright green button, share screen. You click that, and then you choose which screen on your computer you want us to see, and click share again.
Yeah, I got lost there.
Okay. Find your photo.
Do you see the screen that I'm looking at that says screen whiteboard iPhone?
No, sir.
Okay, let me get rid of that. So I'm looking on the screen and I see share screen, the green tab.
Okay, press that button.
Yeah.
Now look at the choices and choose which one has your photo that you want us to see.
Got it.
Okay, now click share screen again. There you go.
You see there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's A. Hi, everyone. I'm Perry Guillot, landscape architect. I live Southampton. And I was listening in on the review 2 weeks ago. And there was an offering and a concern about the cars parked in the front of the house. And I've made this drawing that I think would provide further information about the direction of how we're sort of seeing the use of the 2 mature Japanese maple trees that are existing and how they're bookending and framing the front composition of the house. And the desire is that the front door be very accessible from the parking experience. What we did was reduce from 4 cars to 3, but you can see the position in the elevation at the bottom of the page, how it's symmetrically placed with the massing, the central massing of the building. They're substantial trees, they're 40-foot diameter, and their location in that position is the logical place to put them, knowing that when you go through the gate and you want to get to the existing garage, you go to the right and you head straight back. That's a very narrow passageway there. This doesn't show the complete plan, but there's not a lot of room in the back, and the desire to engage with the front door for a visitor or the homeowner to have immediate access. Like most houses, you can approach the front door as there's not a tremendous amount of options. So to the pillar from the street is 23 feet, and to the gate would be 24 feet. So you can see in the elevation, and there's an axial directness from the gate, which we'll present to this board at a future date. But there's a 6-foot hedge in the front as shown, privet, and there's a lively presentation of the house and the trees as you go by on Toilsome. have a second plan if you'd like to see. Let me do the screen share again. Help me find that one.
You have to probably, let me unshare you so that you can find the picture you want. Okay, now find your picture. Let me know when.
Screen share again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Choose the photo and then screen share again.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Mhm.
Let me, they're in the same file, but
Mhm.
I'll do that right quick. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, I have it.
Okay, screen share. Choose your screen after, and then screen share again.
Got it. So because the narrowness of the east passageway to the back garage, this offers an alternative of a roundabout, a circle, which is at a small size. It's 60-foot diameter, enough to get parked cars and still get around them. And you can see, I don't think it's a viable option because it narrows down to 15 feet where the gate would be, and that's not enough to get a car off the road as you engage with the call box. But you can see it's taking one of those maple trees and putting it in the middle of the donut. And because of their substantial branches, I just think it's an attempt to try to do this, but at the end of the day, it keeps the cars still at the front of the house. But to do anything, by and large, I know the concern with the board was that to not have the cars in the front, but it presents a big obstacle to engage with the front door. And then I think there's a need to have the cars as part of the front experience there. And you can see the tree then becomes, it's not as pleasing of a composition, I believe, with the front massing of the house, the way that there's such a love of symmetry.
Okay, board members.
Architecturally, everything's perfect as far as I'm concerned. As far as the landscape goes, I completely agree with you, Perry, that the option A from elevation point of view is far superior to B. But I think there's a C, which would not require extending the parking across the length of the frontage. I think you could come into the front, the gate where you have it. It should be there. I agree with you. And there could be pull-in parking to the left, and there could be pull-in parking to the right, flanking the entrance, and then the driveway going back to the garage. So I think there's a third. I think there's a third option. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Okay, other board members? And then we'll come back to you, Perry.
Sure.
Board members? Nothing? Okay. Let me sort of going where Peter was going. I was drawing here and I said, well, what happened to circular driveways? And then you came up with a real circle. But I'm not sure that, and I think you're right, that actually is probably more discordant, having a bunch of cars around a circle, a catty corner. It's just not particularly eye-pleasing, and it's not, as you say, it's off-center. But I think where maybe Peter was plan takes the design is sort of what I was hoping to accomplish, which is right now the way you have a design, and I appreciate the fact that you narrowed the width of the parking spot, but cars nonetheless front right on Toilson. Granted, it's back from the street, granted it's hedges, but it's right there. And if more space can be created between the hedge and where the cars are parked, you're creating more green space. Peter's plan C accomplishes that, I think, to some extent, because you have the same number of cars just left and right, or alternatively, and again, I don't have a slide rule or scale to figure out whether you can do that. if the cars, rather than being flush to the, I would say the hedges, was somehow landscaped to be further back.
You mean closer to the house?
Yeah.
Can we go back to Plan A so we can look at that?
So,
and-
you know, and part of this is philosophy too, Perry, which is we try to balance out individual rights with community rights. And parking cars right up to the edge of a property creates space. It's a benefit to the homeowner. They've got more space and distance from the cars, but it's at the sacrifice of the community. And I think it's a little bit off balance here. So that's where I'm trying to go.
But that you wouldn't see the cars? That's still.
Well, yeah, look, preferably, I'd like there to be no cars in the front of houses, but the fact is that they are there, whether you have a long driveway running along the side of the house or not, there are going to be cars there. To the extent that there's green space rather than metal occupying that space, all the better.
Right. I'll put A back up again. Let's see if we can do that. There's A.
Got it.
So coming in the gate and the geometry of turning radiuses and such, if you're going to go from this gate, which is on axes with the front door, and engage to the back of the property to get to the garage and the side door of the house, there's another entrance further to the back as well. The radius of that driveway, this is an appropriate.
Actually, Gary, let me modify or take back my comment, because I'm looking at the previous plan, which your plan here has it not only narrower, but it does have it set back further.
Off the hedge, yes.
Yeah, so you've accommodated my concern.
Okay. I think just when a house has a love affair with symmetry this way, and the gate engages with that, and there's this God's gift to these two beautiful Japanese maples that the client, you can see they're located on the plan. They were bookends to the house that was there before, and we're going to keep in the same spirit of that, pick them up and push them off to the sides a bit. Same A and B, same trees, and it's remarkable. They have this divot, like a quarter divot out of the corners of them, that are going to get them to be allowed to go right back next to the house again.
Yeah.
So I know it's maybe in the scheme of the village to not have cars that way, but there is a limitation here that I'm just trying to figure the best geometry. That's all.
I'm now that I've seen your plan again, I'm okay with the cars.
Thank you.
I'm not.
I know you're not.
There's plenty of room. You don't have to have those big trees. First of all, you're recessing the entrance with the semicircular thing, which is lovely. And then you're putting flanking trees at the gate, so you don't have room for cars. If you brought the gate back out to the property line or near it, or to the hedge line rather, you'd have plenty of room to turn to the left and park 3 cars, and plenty of room to turn to the right. So I'm not buying it. By the way, I do very much like the arrangement of trees and symmetry, and the composition is exactly right.
You don't have a concern with only being 15 feet off the road to get a car, a UPS truck, FedEx, anybody else, while you're pushing the call button, you can't get through the property, that the tail light of your gate is sticking into the road? I've never done that.
Well, aren't you special? I'm more concerned with getting the cars out of the mass of the front yard. Okay.
By the way,
I know you're a very clever guy. I'm sure you can do it.
by the way, Perry, on the call box on the gates, when you come before us for gates, because I don't think there are gates there currently. There's not a house So we would request, and as we have been for some time now, that there'll be no external cold boxes or goosenecks or that of the kind. So if you use, and in today's world, there are plenty of alternatives, call boxes in the columns, if you have columns, radio devices or not. So, so I don't know how that affects your placement.
No, but I've just provided the 23 feet to the pillar that you have a chance, regardless of the gate command, that you can get out of the road while you're waiting for the gate to open that.
Right, well, isn't that dictated by the building department?
Yeah, which is at my understanding is 24 feet, and this is 23 to the pillar, 24 to the gate.
So anyway, so it sounds like on the house, we're okay on the house
Yeah.
and the materials. The only thing that's of issue now is the parking scenario. I, for one, am okay with the parking in front, but I don't want to speak or influence the other board members. So John or Sarah, do you feel strongly one way or the other? And it's perfectly okay if you do.
Maybe
Sarah,
we
you're
could
on.
screen sharing so we could see everybody.
Oh, sorry, Plan A is fine by me, now that I'm unmuted.
I'm fine as well.
Okay, well, that means if we put it to a vote, it's 3 in favor. So as much as we love you, Peter.
Say them all.
Okay, and he is lovable, isn't he? So anyway, any other comments, any public comments?
No public comments.
Okay, then I would move for the sake of ease, because, you know, in the past, we used to have the other board members make the motions, but it was just repetition of words. So this is not any power that I enjoy, but it just makes it easier. So I'll shut up. I move that we accept the applicant's,
Taylor First LLC.
Right, Taylor First LLC, 55 Toilsome Lane, as submitted. What's the date on the plans? Because I don't have that in front of me. Does anybody have the date of the plans?
No.
October 20th is the driveway plan.
Okay, let's assume that's the case. Jackie and I will double check in the building department. Okay. All right. So I move that we accept the applicant's request for plans submitted as of October 20th to be verified. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, second by Sarah. All in favor? That would be say your name. That's John and Sarah. Those opposed?
Peter.
Mr. DeWitt. So, okay, gentlemen, thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Great.
I will see you in about a month with another one.
Okay.
Good.
Looking forward to it. Okay. So we now have 6, but are really 5 applications, or 5 different ones. Number 5 is Ronald Diamond, 98 Pheasant Close East, for a 2nd-story addition. They will be coming up later, the same name, same address for an accessory. So,
I think we should hear them together.
okay, they're 2 separate architects, so that was the reason they were separate.
Oh, how odd. Okay. Well, we have affidavits for both, so.
Okay, why don't let's do this in sequence, but together. So why don't we first hear the 2nd-story addition, and then we'll hear the accessory building. Okay, so who is representing Mr. Diamond on the 2nd-story addition?
Okay, we have Jacques Vanderwatt. coming in.
Oh, boy.
And Jeff, you're gonna have to tell me which photos I need.
Okay, all right.
I could share my screen. You can tell me.
Hi, good evening.
Hello. Are these the photos we need for this hearing?
No, no, it's not that one.
Okay, I'll look for the next one.
I did not send in the documents digitally.
Oh,
I'm sorry about that. I can try and share the screen.
We have paper.
Yeah, you have, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Did you introduce yourself?
Oh, Jake Vanderwatt. I represent Mr. Diamond. This is a very small second story deck, 15 by 7 feet. There's an existing Juliet balcony. The clients like to sit in the morning sun and have their coffee. So they wanted to just extend the deck. And we're doing that, mimicking the same handrail and the same square columns, 2 columns at the bottom that sits on the existing stone patio below. So it's just fairly simple. Just coming out with a small balcony for the clients.
Here's a rendering.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, Peter. Comments from the board?
Fine to me.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with it.
yeah, same here. And there's plenty of spacing between the neighbors, so it's not.
Correct. There's like on the south side, there's 80 feet. On the east
Right.
side, there's 150 feet and
Yeah.
trees
Okay.
and hedges. So.
All right, take yes for an answer, Jack. So any public comment?
I don't see any, Jeff.
Okay, so then I move that we accept approve the application of Ronald Diamond at 98 Pheasant Close East for a second story addition as submitted and planned dated September 23rd.
Thank you so much.
Okay, do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Everybody's hands are raised. Thank you. All right, Jacques, thank you.
Thank you, Jake.
Jake. I'm wrong on all accounts.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
You too. Okay. Okay, so now we're gonna skip around, but let's have the same applicant, Ronald Diamond at 98 Pheasant Close East, in this case for an accessory building. And that I think will be Bill Slight.
Yes, and he's on his way in.
Okay.
And he's in already. Yeah, that was quick.
All right, Bill's getting to be an old hand at this.
Yeah.
Right, Bill? Okay, Bill. Oh, you have to unmute yourself. Okay. Bill, just tell us, although we know who you are, can you tell us who you are and who you represent?
I'm the architect for Ronald Diamond. This is for a accessory building. It will be used as a recreation building, primarily with a gym, a meditation area, and a massage area. It will be on in communication with the swimming pool, and also with there'll be views to the meditation garden, which has water features and sculpture. We're going to decrease the size of the back court of the tennis court and remove an on-site small gazebo in order to gain about 450 square feet of lot coverage, which is about the size of the building that we're going to do. But there's still extra lot coverage available on the property. The design, if Kate could, Kat, could you put up the plan of the building and the elevations?
I can put up whatever I have in the file. And let's see what we
I think
have.
you briefly had them up earlier.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Yes, I found them. Give me 1 second here. Got it and got it. Here they come. Is that what you wanted, William?
I don't see it on my screen. Does anyone else see it?
I see it.
I see them.
You probably clicked on something. It's maybe behind something on your screen.
Yes, we have them.
We have it.
Yeah, let me see if I can do this for you. Oh. Nope. You can't see it, William?
No, I don't, but I know it well enough that
Okay. Oh, the board and the whole world can see it. So go ahead and talk about it.
all right, very well. You can see the in the upper right-hand corner of the drawing is the plan of the space, and the building is going to be cut into the land, and this is on purpose. It's meant to make kind of a sculptural feature out of this sloped lawn that'll descend from the pool patio to the front of the building. And there's a small reflecting pool right at the foot of the building, crossed by a small glass bridge. The side of the building facing the swimming pool is all glazed. It is going to be with a tinted glass with a dark bronze finish for the metal framing. And the building itself will be wood clad and painted a similar dark color.
Okay. Anything else, Bill? Or
no, I think it's a simple building. You know, I don't think it needs a lot more explanation. If you have questions, I'd be happy to provide you any answers.
All right. Any comments from the board?
It's way back on the property. It serves its function, and I have no problem with it. But let's go for it.
Yeah, John, Peter.
Same
here. It's a very interesting design, Bill. Okay. Any public comment?
Nope, no hands are up.
All right, then I move that we accept we approve the application of Ronald Diamond at 98 Pheasant Close East for an accessory building with plans as submitted. And yeah, because this is new. So yeah, plans as submitted. Okay. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
And those plans, by the way, were dated September 29th. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, 4 ayes. It's unanimous. Bill,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Okay, good night.
Good night. Okay, let's go. All right, the next one, we're going to go back up to Amanda Holman at 17 Bishop Court for 1-story single-family dwelling. Okay. I see Jim. Okay. Okay. Hello, Jim. Tell us who you are.
Hi, I'm Jim McChesney. I'm representing Amanda Hallman at 17 Bishop Court, and I believe Amanda just got on also.
Okay, great.
Right.
And I believe we have the screenshots. Them, Kat?
I don't have any.
I thought we received.
I don't have any digital for this one.
Let's see. Hold on.
I don't have it, but I have affidavits.
Okay, good. Hold on. 17.
We've got drawings.
Okay.
And there should be a rendering also, yes.
Yeah, yeah. All right,
Thanks,
Jackie.
Peter.
All right, we'll have to figure this out a bit going forward. So, okay, go ahead.
We're planning to remove an existing small house, rebuild a one-story, basically a cottage. And it gets pushed back a little bit further from the street. It's a 2-bedroom cottage, 1-story, and my clients own the house next door, and it's probably meant to be used as a guest house. So it's, you know, not meant to be so large. We're using typical shingle materials, a wood shingle roof, white painted shingles, and we'd like to do some lattice on the side of the house and kind of make it seem more like a garden structure.
Okay, good. Any comments from the board?
Adorable. I like it. I don't have any problem with it.
No, it's we don't often use these words, but it's as cute as can be.
So if I may, I want to first introduce myself again. I'm Amanda
Yes.
Maine, and it's a pleasure to be before you. And we thank you for your kind attention and for the compliments. My husband, Rob, and I, who's doing my IT currently because it's a little stressful. But Rob and I, our intention was to do a modest but beautiful little jewel box of a home in keeping with the old world architecture of Southampton that we love so much. And we want to see more of. So we hope it's in the spirit of our small street. There's just there's three houses. And we think it'll be a wonderful addition to the neighborhood and in the spirit of a lovely community. So I'm thrilled you love it. I think it's beautiful. And it's 2-bedroom, as Jim said, and quite small, but that's what we want.
Okay, well, your spirit is shared by us, so we appreciate that. I move that we accept the application of Amanda Maine.
Yes, it's a Swedish name that came from France. It's actually spelled like Maine. We tend to tell close friends when they first meet us, think of Pole and the state of Maine.
Okay, great.
You know, we'll do what we can. It's complicated.
Okay, well, it's pretty straightforward. So at 17 Bishop Court for 1-story single-family dwelling as submitted. Plans are dated September 13th. Okay, thank you both, Amanda and Jim. Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't vote on it. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Peter. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous. Thank you, Amanda.
you.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's move on. Southampton Shopping Center at 111 Main Street, exterior alterations.
We have affidavits in there in order.
Thank you, Alice.
Hi, Sean, you're in. There you go.
Okay, Sean, tell us who you are and where you hail from and who you represent.
Sean Leonard, architect, 320 Hampton Road, and I'm representing 111 Main Street, the Southampton Shopping Center.
Okay, let me just, and Alice said we have all the stuff we need in terms of affidavits. 111 Main Street, yeah, you should have that because Derek sent it around. Yep. So Kat's gonna put it up, and why don't you direct which elevations you want us to look at?
And bear with me because each photo is in a separate file, so I have to keep going back.
Okay, so let's start with the front. Which one is that?
So this is the elevation that is facing Nugent Street. So as you know, this is the old HSBC Bank. The bank is no longer going to be, it's looking at a retail building is what they want to convert it to. And what we're doing is to remove the front gable that sticks out. We are removing the drive-through window. We're removing the cupola on top, and the drive-through window will be replaced with a new window to match the others that are down on the lower end of the gable there. And in the center part where the gable's being removed, we're looking to create a different facade. And the steel that you see that is visible is also the structure that holds the front of the facade in place. It'll hold up that the upper part of the clear story there, and frame out the windows and doors. The building, the brick will be painted white, and the window frames and doors will all be a light gray, and the steel will be a darker gray, which is the Benjamin Moore rock gray. If we can go to the east elevation.
No,
Which slide is that?
none of those, right?
Should be the next still.
Hold on.
The east is number 3.
Let's try this one. I have the
It's the one with the porthole. Yeah.
Yeah. So the vent that's currently there, that would remain. And what is now the opening for what was the entrance from the parking lot side, that will be removed. And there's a window there would also be removed. And we would be widening up the entrance with the steel that'll hold the brick in place. And we would have a new storefront with glass doors and transoms.
Okay. Do we want to see any of the old pictures or no?
The material, the white, is it a white or does it have a U or a cast to it?
No, it'll be a white. Benjamin Moore, white dove.
Okay. Board members, comments?
I like the idea of the exposed structural elements, but I think the design overall is pretty soulless. I don't want anything cutesy, but it's soulless as far as I'm concerned.
I agree with Sarah that the existing building has, as it is even, has a bit of character. And while I like the fact that the building is going to be reused and remodeled, I would like to see something a little less sterile, a little less contemporary in ways. To me replicates like just an ordinary strip center that could be anywhere USA.
I agree with John completely. And I find the the steel detailing, I guess, unnecessary. It's just like something that came in from somewhere and landed. I wonder if you, instead of, removing the gable is a positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't you just continue that eave line across and bring the glass out to the face of the brick, and then so we don't have that sort of false front look?
You're saying bring the front of the building out?
Yeah, to the face of the flanking brick pavilions. Just continue the roof line. And then fill that whole thing in with glass. Between the two brick and bookends.
it's that portion that just juts out that just looks like a strip center type of
Yeah.
awning.
Yeah.
Sterile.
Can we go? There's one other picture, the picture 2, which will probably help.
I don't have picture numbers. So let me just go like this. Okay, I think this is the picture you
Yeah,
want.
that's good.
Yeah.
See, you know, if you just carried that roof plane across and then filled it in with glass below, I grant you, you have to find a place for signage. I know that. I can't tell, you know, it's just a suggestion that, but I think it might make it just more, a little quieter, a little more, I don't know, not
Well,
so intrusive.
Even if that center part was sloped instead of a flat roof somehow to allow room for signage, that might even be, you know, a solution.
True, it could be like a dormer. It could be like
Yeah,
a dormer.
like a shed dormer kind
Like
of
a
in a way.
shed dormer. That would be a good idea. I think, you know, it could make, it's more vernacular. It's, you know, it relates to the way the building is now. I think that's a great idea.
Okay,
Are you allowed to bring the glass out to the face of the flanking brick? I don't know if there's a zoning issue. I don't know that.
That would be an expansion of the building. I was actually working with the existing footprint of the existing building.
Okay.
I think it would surely add more character than what you have presented here. And it would have the added benefit of more square footage from the landlord's perspective. I don't know where the footprint lies in terms of allowable square footage, but you know, to the extent you're open to that, I think the board members' suggestions are good ones, or at least the things to think about to bring in more character. And if you free yourself up from the existing footprint, to the extent you're allowed to do so, I think you could come up with a creative and richer, well, the design is creative, but you could come up with a richer, more engaging design.
I'm very pleased that building is being renovated for re-commercial use. It's just because it is in such a prominent location.
Right.
It you know, it would be nicer to have something that's more in keeping with the surrounding character of the village itself.
But not a CVS.
But not a CVS, no.
No.
That went to the opposite extreme of contriving something that just didn't exist to begin with. Anyway, that's a whole separate issue. But I think it could be simplified a bit and as for all the comments we've made. So.
And I like the palette. I like, you know, going with the gray. I think it's nice.
Okay. So if there's no public comment, I think, Sean, you would be asking us for an adjournment.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no public comment.
Okay, so I move that we accept the applicant's request to adjourn. Sean, well, let me get, so you would be required to submit something the Thursday before the next meeting, if you can do that in that time frame. If not, you can adjourn it to a subsequent meeting. Okay. So I move that we accept the applicant's request to adjourn. Do I have a second on that? John seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you, Sean.
All right, thank you.
All right, take care. Okay, so let's see if we can move on here. Next application, Peter Culver at 49 Corrigan Street for additions and a pool house.
We have affidavits on this as well.
Okay, thank you.
They're coming in.
Okay, great. Kat, do you know if you have plans on this one?
I do.
Okay, good.
Okay, a couple of people are coming in.
Okay.
Okay, Carmel Culver, Peter Culver, and Michael McCrum.
Okay. Folks, introduce yourselves and whoever is going to speak. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Okay. Who do we have?
Culvers.
Okay.
And Michael McCrum. Everybody has to unmute and start your camera if you need to speak. I will send you the request to unmute. Oops, wrong person. Sorry, Jackie. And to start your camera. Okay, everybody's in, Jeff.
Okay. So whoever is going to be presenting, please introduce yourselves. Tell us who you are and where you are based and who you represent.
My name is Michael McCrum. I'm an architect. I'm representing Peter Culver, 49 Corrigan Street. And I'm working out of Bridgehampton, New York.
Okay, great.
We are proposing an addition to this house. It's 18 feet by 32 feet. It's on the north side of the house. And also proposing a swimming pool in the back, a small swimming pool. 14 by 28, and a pool house, which is 12 by 16, I believe. This house was built in 1956, I believe, or 57. And yeah, 1957 by Peter Culver's father. So we want to add on and blend in with what he built originally. So we're sticking to the same style, the same materials, the same colors, and I don't know. Does anyone have any questions about this? Hello?
Yeah, do you have any
Oh.
pictures of the existing? I just noticed that we didn't have a picture of the existing in the file.
I do have a picture.
That'd be great.
Let me see if I can find it here. It doesn't seem to be opening. Sorry. We submitted some photographs.
Okay.
Two photographs, one of the
I went
front.
by it. That's fine. I understand. It was not for me, it's for others. Well, you know, I think it's fine. It's in keeping. The only thing I think is I could improve is that the dormer windows, if they could be the same size as the windows below in the first floor.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree, because the ratio of the facade material with the window is too large. You have the opportunity, even though they're ventilation windows, of having a larger window, and it would look better, in my opinion, too.
Okay, well, we'll have to increase that size of the dormer, I think, to
No.
fit that.
No.
Nope, nope.
No.
Just you need a bigger window and the same size dormer.
Same size dormer. You've got, it's the window to the north that it should be the scale, the 6/1 on the ground floor.
The 3046.
If you were to use a 3046 above in the dormers, I think it would look better.
Yeah, it would fill out the dormer.
Yeah,
totally.
that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
You get it, and you get a bit more light.
yeah, well, that's mostly for ventilation up there.
Right.
There's,
But,
Oh, okay.
but stylistically, I think it would be an improvement.
okay, I mean, I agree with that. Peter, what do you think? Peter?
Oh, you're on mute, Peter.
Not me, Peter.
No, I know. Peter Colbert.
No, Peter Culver.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Peter?
Hear us? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
There you
I
go.
think that's good. The larger windows would be good.
Okay.
Great, okay. Okay. So let's do this. Let me open it up to a board, to public comment. Any public comment?
Nope, there are no hands up, Jeff.
Okay. So Michael, even though it's a small change, but because we're dealing by video, we're going to need you to submit that change in there. Alice, you're in agreement with that? Yeah. And then we'll formally vote on it to approve it next session. Okay.
Okay.
But I mean, this is sort of perfunctory. If you were in person, we'd make the changes, but so just submit the new plans with the window specified as agreed here, and we would be all set. Peter, it's great that you and your wife are keeping up family tradition and maintaining a house in the neighborhood.
We're excited. Happy to be going back to his home where he grew up on Corrigan.
That's great. It's good stuff. Good stuff.
Thank you.
What's that?
Thank you.
You're welcome. I move that we accept the, I'm sorry. I move that we accept the applicant's request to adjourn to our next meeting so that we may adjust their plans. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second by Peter DeWitt. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
That's unanimous. So Michael, just get it into us the Thursday before the next meeting
Okay.
by noon time, and do it as you did also with the digital form.
Right.
Okay, great. All right. Thank you, folks. Good
All right,
night.
thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Let's see. Finally, the applications, I got a poodle who needs to go out. Is that of SHRE LLC at 161 Downs Path.
We have affidavits on this one as well.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay. Easy. Sorry.
Poor Buddy. The trees on this elevation totally block the materials.
But are we, is the applicant here? SHRE LLC?
They're coming in.
Okay.
Come on. So slow sometimes.
Can you run her out and run her back in?
No, it's, no, unfortunately not. She likes to meander. But she's getting very anxious.
John Laffey is in.
Okay, Sarah, can you take over for a second? I'll be back in a minute, okay?
This application is for SHRE LLC at 161 Downs Path. And John Laffey, are you ready to present? Do you have your plan digitally available?
I gave it to can you hear me?
Mhm.
Yeah, I gave it to Jackie a little while ago, a month ago, and I gave her another set of plans today for the landscaping and also my affidavit for the posting. Do you guys
Okay,
have it?
Kat, do you have these available?
I do not.
Oh, sorry.
Very
We have the
frustrating
paper.
for us too.
We have the paper, but I guess not the digital, right?
Right.
Let me see if I. Oh. Let's see.
We're trying to get a digital.
Yeah, okay.
I don't seem to have it.
Mhm.
Oh. Yes, I do. Okay.
I don't think we received a digital file on this one.
I'm not sure what happened then. We given to Jackie. I know we also emailed it to her and we gave her.
Well,
No,
Jackie's on. If Jeff, if you want to talk to Jackie.
Let me see, 161 Downs Path.
Jeff, this was the one that was being scanned in as I was headed out of the office this afternoon.
Okay. Let me see if it came in. We don't have it. Let's see. Let's work with what we do have.
Okay, thank you.
I have an elevation right here.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Peter.
I have to say, unfortunately, the rendered tree got in front of all your labeling, so we can't read it.
Oh, sorry.
And that's on both elevations. This one and the rear elevation.
And this is all the materials. So it's really, I mean, it's incomplete in essence.
Can't read it. I guess you could
okay.
talk to us about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let's talk through it, okay?
Okay.
Here.
So the clients have purchased the house and there's an existing residence on it we'll be taking down. It was built in about 1987. And it's a 3,000 square foot, pretty innocuous house that's been overgrown for years.
Thank you.
There we go. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
So we're going to be removing the residence. We'd like to build a 2-story shingle style house. The front facade, as you can see, is it's got red cedar siding on it. It's got a red cedar roof. The windows will be white. They are currently, the majority of the windows are 4/2 on the second floor with 2/3 on the first floor. They get a little bit taller. We're trying to sort of keep the proportions the same. The front of the house has over the front entry foyer, there's a dormer that has a copper standing seam copper roof on it, which will turn a beautiful brown color. There's copper gutters on the house, half rounds, 5-inch half rounds, and the roof again is a wood roof. The brick out and back is going to be a Glengarry Danish blend type brick that we like to use. We'd supplied, I don't know if you have, I don't know if Charlie Martyr did a little landscape plan for you guys. I don't know if you have it in paper copy there. You might. It has a bit of, in Charlie's plan, we're entering the site from what would be essentially the southern side of the property and going, heading towards the north side by the garage. And there's an alley of trees in front of that. So I think it'll nicely frame the house and not hide it, but see a lot of it. And the trim is white. The fascia boards up on top have corbelled gables and with white V-groove vertical boards on them, sort of help break down the scale. And the columns are all also the square and they're white, and they all sort of match each other in height. And I think it's a sort of nice, sort of very simple, sort of pretty, not a farmhouse, but it has some detail to it, and I think it's very, I think it's reasonably goes well in the neighborhood. That the house to, I don't know if you saw the houses. The house to the north is not built yet, so I don't really know what that one is. The house to the south is a very detailed, it's a gray gambrel style house. You might have seen that. The house, this house faces facing east. There's a split street between them. That's Halsey. And the house to the north is sort of a typical sort of story and a half type of house. And the house to the south of that is sort of a stuccoed, sort of an odd shaped house. I really wouldn't know how to describe it. It sort of defies, in my mind, architectural definition. Although it looks sort of, just my opinion.
Let's talk about this one.
Okay. I agree. So
I'm going to start.
Okay,
Okay, go ahead, Peter.
I find that the pop-up in the hyphen between the gables is a little excessive. It's like too much stuff going on. I would eliminate that dormer. And I find the gables fussy. Those are my only issues. But the corbels and the vertical siding and the little window up there, a little too cutesy for me.
You don't think they, okay.
Let's hear.
That's just me.
I mean, John Gregory, and then we'll go back to you, John Laffey.
I'll be quiet. Sorry. Okay. Yes.
Oh no, that's okay.
No, I'll take it all in tonight.
Right, and then we'll give you a chance. Okay.
My only comment on both the facade and the rear of the house are the double height, those transom-like windows that create this, the double height windows.
Yeah. Okay, Sarah. Sarah, you're muted.
Yeah.
It's late. I don't care for the double height transom windows either, and I'm neither here nor there. I'm sort of tired of gable-ended buildings as the norm, but that's okay.
So I share with John and Sarah the same comments. I think if you nix the transom windows, you'd have less is more. And then as the lintels go, I'm sort of with Sarah. I think with all the windows and everything else, it looks a bit much, but maybe without the windows, it'll work better.
Jeff, are you speaking specifically about so that we're talking about the front pop-up dormer window there?
The east elevation.
Yeah, the east and west.
And west, yeah.
The back has five 2/2s, and then has another set of five half windows.
Yeah, I agree. Eliminate those transoms and the scale comes down nicely, I think, at the center. on
Okay.
both elevations.
I certainly can look at that, certainly in the back, but you don't feel that if we got rid of the, well, two things about the front facade, really, it's, I think corbelling the front gable, maybe just, I mean, I've done a lot of that, arguably, I agree, but I do think it does tends to bring down the scale of the vertical gables that are there.
Would those verticals be, that paneling, is it painted or natural?
They'd be painted white.
Oh, all right. That makes it a little different.
Yeah.
I still think the transoms are wrong, though.
And I would eliminate the shed dormer too, I think. But I may be in the minority.
Yeah, the door.
Well, if you get rid of the transom windows, then the shed dormer above.
Ceases to- doesn't function.
It does exactly.
That goes to.
Yeah, I think you'll have a simpler house that will scale be less massive looking.
Okay.
And remove your trees, please.
Yes, my apologies. I will do that for the next presentation.
Thank you.
So in general, we're going to try and keep it a little bit simpler on the upper gable.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll review this with my client, and can I adjourn till the next meeting, please?
Yes. Oh, thank you for asking. I thought you'd never ask. So in any event, yes, we accept the request to adjourn to the next meeting.
Very good.
Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we are through with the hearings with the exception of driveway gates. Hampton Monkey Business had requested an adjournment previously, I believe. So no need to go over that.
I have one hand up though, Jeff.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who did I miss?
This is Pamela Hall.
Yeah.
For what?
Pamela, to tell us you've been.
Sure, Pamela, you're in. Start your sound, please. There you
Yeah.
go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, this is, you guys might remember us. We're the Halls who are building the house actually to the north of the house that you just looked at.
Oh.
So
We were just wondering if, we're going to be the neighbors of these new folks also. And we were wanting to see the plans, but we couldn't see them because they weren't on the screen.
Well,
Especially the back of the
adjourned.
house and the side elevation that faces us.
Right. So that's going to be, they're coming back, the one that we just heard, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't ask for public comment. That's my error. And so what's your concern? Because I can address it to the offline. I mean, because it's my fault.
Well, we're not really sure, but it'll be the
They didn't
normal
see the plans.
concerns of most neighbors, like, our master
Okay.
bedroom windows face their house. So just curious how big the windows are. Is there going to be light? Is there any deck?
Yes.
Because we
Okay,
couldn't see
so
it.
which is
You guys know all the normal.
Well,
You know,
there are
we-
terraces off the back of the house too, that you may want to go into the village building department and take a look at the plans yourself.
So exactly. So
We're in Colorado, but maybe I can get our attorney.
Hopefully,
Somebody-
their digital submission, they should be able to email it to you.
Oh, that would be great. Okay,
Yeah.
'cause I did ask in advance if we could see them in advance of the meeting and they said no. So, but maybe now that it's already adjourned. I can
Yeah.
Get that.
and Jackie, we can take care of that as a one-off.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
would be a photo request, no issue.
Okay, great.
All right.
All righty. Thank
you so
you.
much. Nice to see you again.
Same here.
Bye.
So Hampton. Well, she's eager. All right, give me a second.
Easy.
Yeah.
Hello.
They're really eager to go out.
Hi, sweet girl.
Okay. So, okay, so the Monkey Business Gates, that was already previously adjourned, was it not, Alice?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, good. So the only other thing in terms of any other business is the trustees are concerned about properties in historic that have been allowed to go to rack and ruin. or wrecking room. And in particular, property on Job's Lane. So I'm going to be appearing before the trustees tomorrow and just reference that property as well as the property opposite the firehouse on
Oh, yeah. Windmill.
Windmill, thank you. And then, sorry, and then the property at the end of the west end of Hill Street. It was a general store. I know that's been approved and there's stuff supposedly going on, but there's nothing going on. And in the meantime, I noticed the roof is warping and.
Can you throw the Gideon Hall into that mix as well?
So which, oh, okay, so wait, oh, is that the one next to the dog park?
Yes, yeah, right behind, what's the bakery there?
Tate's.
Yeah,
Tate's.
Tate's.
Yeah. Forget Tate's.
Okay, any others? So let me write this down. Okay.
Well, I have a concern about 88 Gin, just sort of making certain that
Yeah. So now on 88 Gin, and Alice, for your advice, in as much as that's before us.
Right.
I don't know if it's proper for me to make any.
Okay, no, good, okay.
Any other board.
Okay, no,
I
that's.
don't want to do anything that would.
Yeah, okay. The one on,
What do you think, Alice?
the one on
Yeah,
Windmill.
Don't comment on it.
Okay.
The one on Windmill is a very historic building and it's in bad shape, but
Yes.
some people are saying, oh golly, it's an eyesore, tear it down. We can't do that.
No,
So-
there was a fellow who was going to work on it 3 years ago and nothing came of it. And Zach went there and he was all over the window sashes, which are original and everything else.
Yeah, no, it's a very significant building and don't give in, please.
Sorry. Well, there's nothing, I'm just bringing it to their attention, but I wanted to bring it to your attention to also solicit any other places. So thank you for that. If there's nothing else to do this evening, I'll move that we adjourn the meeting, if that's okay with you folks.
Perfect. And Wendy will say yes, please.
Oh, God, yeah, before she bites off my hand, I'm not, anyway. So. The kids would be, yes, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Good night, everyone.